What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Trading Learning 101. In this video I am going to show you guys how I have my trade set up, and I'm going to go step by step on how I set this up. We're going to restart all of this to scratch and we're going to go through it together. Now I have a total of 3 screens on my desktop that I use, and I use 2 of my screens for the ThinkorSwim platform. I have 2 windows. So I have this one right here. This is my main one that I look at. I have a 1 minute right here of a ticker that I'm watching, and then I also have a 1 minute right here of a different ticker I would be watching. And then I have my level 2, my times and sales, and then I have my order ladder right here to where I can place orders. And then I have the news right down here, and then my watch list right here. And then on my second window, I have multiple time frames. This is the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the daily chart of the past 6 months, and then I'll have the yearly chart. And this is all linked. As you can see right here, they're all linked to this one right here. So this is my main one that I'd be watching, and I have it linked also to my watch list right here. And then this is just a back burner to keep an eye on, because in the morning there's so much going on. I want to keep an eye on this, and I also want to keep an eye on something else that has interest to me. If I only have my attention on one specific ticker, then I would just simply link this, and then I'll still have it be an intraday chart, but I'll shorten up all the noise. So I'll have the past 2 days 3 minutes, and I'll keep an eye on it with the 1 minute right here. I like to have multiple time frames to see a bigger picture, or see if there's a different pattern setting up. And it's always good to look at the big picture and work your way in. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to hit reset. And I'm going to pull up my other window right here, and I'm going to exit out of that. So we're starting totally fresh, brand new. So the first thing you're going to do is normally you would be on the charts tab right here. I come over to the flexible grid tab, and as you can see, it's starting fresh. If you don't have this little box right here, how you can access it is coming up here and clicking the customize grid tab right here. This little box right here will make another box, so I'll exit all these out to show you what each one of these does. This tab right here will open a box just below it, so we'll click that, and that's what that one does. This one right here opens another box to the right of this, and as you can see, the little plus sign right there, and it opens one right there. So how I do this: first off, I'll click this tab right here to open me a box just below this one. I'll open up one more at the bottom, and what this one will be right here is my news. And then this middle one, I'll open up 2 more. So I'll have my level 2 right here, I'll have my times and sales, and then I'll have my order bracket right here. I'll come up to this very top one, and I'll click this middle one once to open up the split screen like that. And it's kind of important to do that in that order. Then I will link all of these tabs to my watch list. This is an old setup that I was using, so I know it's ugly. Alright, and what I would do is if you come over to here to the edge of this, you can double click that and it'll open this up to a big frame. And then over here is your sidebar with all of your stuff that you can use. I'll click the chart to remove that, and I'll turn this into a level 2. And then up here again, I'll double click it to make it smaller. Or you can simply click, they have arrows up here so you can navigate to the next one. I'll click the right tab to move to the next chart thing that I have here. And then I'll remove this, and I will turn this into a times and sales. And then I'll click this one more time, and I will click the chart, and I will turn this into the active trader. Double click this blue thing here to minimize it, and there it is. That's how that's set up. And then I'll double click on this bottom one down here. I will click the chart, and I'll turn this into live news. Minimize this, and there you go. It's starting to look like the way I originally had it. So I'll click this and I'll bring it down here to make that smaller. And then let's get this out of the way because we're not adding any more screens onto it. And then I will bring this down to minimize this. Also, one more thing I gotta do. Bring the customized grid back up. Just remove the sidebars on all of these because we are going to leave them the way they are. So we're starting to have it look like the way I originally had it. And you guys can customize it the way you want. This is what's cool about this platform. So from here, we're going to start going into how I want the chart to look. And how I do that is first I'll start with the gear tab. How do I want my chart to look? I'll come over to the price axis, and I'll click on any of these that I want, which is none of them right now at the moment. I'll come to the time axis and the expansion area. That's the area right here at the end of the chart. I like to have a little bit of a gap so I can see the candlestick and what it's doing. So I'll change this to a 5. And then I'll hit apply. And then I'll come over to appearance and how I want this to look. So I don't like having the grid on my intraday, so I'll declick the grid. And then I'll change the background. You could change the background to any color that you like. So let's say if you wanted it to be blue, that's how it would look. I like my black background to be black, so I'll change it to that. And then you have the volume bars. Now you can only have the volume bars either be blue, or you could have them the color of the way you have the candlesticks colored. So I'll click color as symbol ticks. I'll highlight that one. And then you can also change the color of your cursor to any color that you would like. So let's change it to a dark purple. I like to have a color that sticks out so I can easily see it on the chart. Or you know what? Let's change it to yellow. Let's try that out. So then I'll also have the wicks showing, because if you don't have the wicks, you'll just have candles. I also want to see the greed and the emotion in these candles. So I'll have the wicks presented as well. And then this is where you get to customize the candlestick colors. And I have it set up right now the way I like. So, but, you know, I lied. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's make it look like that. Yeah, that looks good enough for me. So then what you would do is you would hit this apply button and click OK. But as you can see, I have all these red lines in there. I don't want those red lines. So let's go back to the gear tab and let's go to time axis. I'll declick the options and then display right here, the show rollover time, show rollover lines. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the show expiration Friday. And I do not want to see the show year marking lines. And I'll click that, and then I'll hit apply, and then I'll hit OK. And that's how the chart would present itself right there. But there's these moving averages in here too. I don't have really anything on my intraday chart because I like to try to keep my charts as clean as possible. But there is one thing I do like to have on my, or there's a couple things I like to have on my intraday chart. I like to have the VWAP. If we scroll down to the V's, and I'll double click that to add that. And then once it's on here, I'll click this gear tab to customize how I want the VWAP to present itself. You can select the width of it, and you can also select what color you want the VWAP to be. I like to have an orange color for my VWAP. I'll click OK. I just want the VWAP. I don't want the upper band or the lower band. So it's important to decheck all these boxes right here. That way all I want is the VWAP. But we don't need to show the title. We don't need to show the bubble. Hit apply. OK. And as you can see, the VWAP is right there. It looks a little too small. Maybe you want it bigger. Come back into the little chemist thing right there. This will pop up. Click the little gear right here. And let's change the width of it to 2. OK, apply. And there it is. But then I also like to add, I keep clicking on that gear. I also like to add the daily open price, and I also like to add the closing price. So we'll come down to the daily open. The closing price is a custom code I had to look up on the internet. And I had to add that in myself. So you would go to Google, go to and type in ThinkorSwim custom formulas or custom studies and type in previous day close, and a code should pop up somewhere in there for you guys. So then I have the daily open here. We'll click on the gear tab. I don't want it to show the title. It can show the bubble. So I'll have this draw as, you can have this have as a line, a dotted line. I like to have it as a line, and I like to have mine as pink. I'll click OK, and then the previous day close. I like to have the previous day close as a dotted line, and then the width of it too. And then I like to have mine white. I'll click OK, I'll click apply, and there you have it. You have the daily price that it opened as the pink line, and then I'll have the white line as the previous day's close, and then the orange line is the VWAP. And then I'll come over here to the next chart and I'll do the exact same thing. And remember, you could type it in up here. And there's all kinds of different studies that you can do. So if you like having the MACD or the Elliott wave, they have all of that in there for you guys. I don't use none of that because, like I said before, I like to keep my charts clean, and I'm more of a momentum trader. I trade momentum. I trade chart patterns. I go with price action and volume. That's really big for me. Click OK, and then I'll click Apply. And there you have it. Also, let's say you don't like it like this. I don't like it like this. I just remembered this. So the volume is coming in with the candlestick right here. Let's say you want the volume to be separate. To change that, come up here to the gear tab, declick this, overlap volume. I don't want that. Hit apply, and then OK. And then it'll take the volume away right there, and it'll open up its own little box right here. And you can make that bigger if you wanted, just by doing that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Overlap volume, declick that, and then apply. So it's starting to look like how I had it, and this is how I normally would have my setup. So, and then also, on the times and sales right here, I'll also change the size. And I'll change the size. I only want it to show greater than or equal to 200 just to get rid of all the noise that's in the times and sales. And then if I wanted, I can come over here and customize the way I want my order thing to look like, my times and sales. So just by double clicking, you can get rid of a lot of this stuff. Remember, it's all about speed when you're a trader. So set these up the way you want, and then I'll click OK, and there you have it. And then you can also have your P&L information right here. You can either hide it or you can customize it. Let's just pull this up. And then this is your ladder right here. And then there's a little tiny gear tab right here. You can click on that and hit customize, and you can add whatever you would want to show up in here. I like to keep it just the way it is. So this is my first screen right here that I have, my main one. Now let's get a secondary screen too so we can look at the history on the tickers that we want. So what I would do is I'd come up here. First, I would save my flexible grid. So click Save Flexible Grid As, and then a little box will come up right here, and you could type in whatever you would want and click Save, and it'll save your setup like this. So in case you ever made a mistake or changed something and you want your original settings back, then you can come right up here to this tab, and all you gotta do is click on anything that you've saved to have it load up for you. So to get the second screen, I will click this detach button, and it'll open up a brand new window for me. I'll bring up the customized grid, and then what I'm going to do is I am just going to hit this far right tab right here, and I'm going to delete all of this. So you have one box open right now. Now what I do is I'll click one box down. This is going to be my yearly chart. You can link it, and then I'll open up two more charts with this middle tab here. Link these up, and then I will get rid of the little sidebar there to extend the chart just a little bit. Come up here, remove the customized grid, and then I'll just go through and I'll start customizing these charts the way I just did with the original two charts. So remember to decheck the overlap volume if you don't want the volume to pop up over your chart to block your candlesticks. Remember to uncheck the show orders. In the expansion area, remember, I like to have a little bit of room, so I use 5. I'll decheck the options, the rollover lines, the expiration Friday, and the yearly lines on this chart. Now I'll go to the appearance. Now on the daily charts, I like to have a grid on it. I'll just put a light blue. I like to have my background black. And the volume bars, I like to have the volume bars as the candles tick. And customize the way you want your candlesticks to look. Hit apply, and there it is. See how much cleaner it cleaned it all up? And you can customize this any way you want. And then let's say you don't like to use candlesticks. Let's say you like to use bar charts, candle trend, line charts, area charts, and equal volume. All that is available for you. Click OK. Come to the Formula tab here. Remove the RSI. I used to use the RSI. I don't use it anymore. What these are all moving averages. To delete, just click this little X button next to the gear sign. We're going to start all of this fresh. I'll come down to the daily simple moving average, and I'll click that once, and I'll click it twice. And then I also like to have an exponential moving average. And we're going to come down to moving average exponential right here. Double click that. And then we're going to edit these moving averages. So the first one, up here at the length, this is going to be the 50-day moving average. Draw it as a line. The width of it, let's just keep it a 1 for right now. And the 50-day moving average, I like to have it as a blue color. Click OK. OK. And then there's my 50-day moving average. The next one I like to have, come up to the length, double click. I like to have the 200-day moving average. Draw it as a line. And my 200-day moving average, I like it to be red. Click OK. And then my moving average exponential. My moving average, I like to go with the 13 EMA. Draw it as a line. And let's go with, I like orange. Click OK, OK, apply. And there you go. Let's do BLIN. There you go, that's a better demonstration for it. So the red line is my 200-day moving average. The blue line is my 50-day moving average. And the orange line is my 13 EMA. And this is the daily chart, the past year. Click that little day tab, 2 year, 1 day, and there you go. And then I have a little box down here for the volume, just to keep that separate. So then I have a little chart right here, and what this one will be is my 1 day, 5 minute. Click on the gear tab. I don't want it to show orders. I want it to have its own little volume box, so I'll decheck that. Price axis, time axis, I like to have an expansion area of 5. Appearance, no grid. And I have that set up the way I like it. Hit apply. OK. And then the formula tab. I have the VWAP, the daily open, and the previous day close. Apply. OK. And then my middle chart here, I'll mess around with this chart. I'll have it be a 15-minute chart. I'll have a 10-minute chart. So let's do the previous 3 days, 15 minutes. Click the gear tab, appearance, no grid. All that looks good. Expansion area 5. Decheck the overlap volume. Show orders, no. Apply. OK. And I'll click on the little chemist thing here. I don't need the RSI. I don't need my moving averages on that. Hit apply. OK. On my 15-minute, I just like to keep it clean looking, just to see the trend of it. And then this third box right here, I like this one to be a more up close and personal daily. First off, I'll remove all these studies. Hit apply, OK. Click the gearbox. Or actually first, we'll change it. We'll change it to the previous 3 months daily. Click the gearbox. Don't need it to show orders. Overlap volume, decheck. Decheck all of those. The appearance, no grid. And everything looks good to me. Hit apply, and there it is. This is the daily chart of the previous 3 months. But what if I wanted to add moving averages to it? Click OK, then apply. Click OK, and there you have it. There you go. And then I'll make sure, like I said, everyone is linked. And then I'll just simply move this over to my other screen and have that waiting for me. That way I'm ready to rock and roll. When I click on tickers, I'll put this, I'll try to show this a little bit. So that way when I click on tickers, it all just disappeared on me. But that way when I just click on tickers, it all pops up, and even on the other one too, it'll pop up for me. Move that back over there. And there you have it, guys. That's my setup for the ThinkorSwim platform. This is how I exactly have mine set up. Mess around with this thing. There's so much to customize on this and the way you can have it look. And there you have it, guys. This is how I have my chart set up and my setup for when I do trades or when I'm observing the market. I hope this video was informational for you guys. One thing I forgot real quick is the phase score down here. What this is it just displays information on the ticker that I'm looking at. I barely ever look at it. If I do, I just see what sector and subsector it is and the earnings date. I have all of that on my trade ideas. So this is something, if you want it on yours, you just click this little plus tab here and click the phase score. That's all that really is. But other than that, this is how I have my setup, guys. I hope you like this video, and hit that like and subscribe button. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. I would be happy to answer them for you guys. And have a good one. Study up and always study. You can never study too much. Study, study, study. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.